everyone, my name's Vicki Cummings, and just as you know, all of our visitors are very special to us, and we come across so many wonderful people that have great stories about what Saint Marianne means to them. Today, I have Mary Ann Wolfgang and her father, Peter Wolfgang. They're going to share a little bit about their experience today.
Well, first and foremost, what she means to me is that she's the patron saint of my daughter. My wife and I, we named the sixth of our seven children here, Mary Ann, after Saint Marianne Cope. Mary Ann was born in 2011, and so Saint Marianne Cope was still Blessed Mary Ann at the time, and she was canonized a few years later. But that, first and foremost, that's the connection to me. And when I pray for my daughter, Mary Ann, after her guardian angel, the person I pray to the most is Saint Marianne Cope. I view Saint Marianne Cope as her patroness, as the person to go to whenever I need an intercessor with God for my daughter, Mary Ann. So that's what Mary Ann means to me, most and foremost.
You.
She means to me like a lot because she took care of these little girls even though like she knew that she might get the sickness, but she wanted to help them either way. That's what she means to me.
Great. And the family came up from Connecticut today to visit the Shrine and Museum.
It was a marvelous experience. I didn't know what to expect. My wife arranged this trip, and so she did all the research ahead of time, and I didn't know what I was walking into, and I was very, very impressed with this shrine, this museum, to the legacy of Saint Marianne Cope. Of course, I had read about her around the time that Leslie and I, my wife and I, were naming our daughter Mary Ann after her, so I knew about all the good work that she had done in Hawaii with the lepers. I knew about her role in founding the hospital here in Syracuse, and just her whole life of good works. But to actually be here at the museum and see it, and see all the documentary evidence, the nun who was a member of her order and kept all the written records, and the actual photography. I think it's great that she lived right into 1918, into the era of modern photography. So we have all these actual photos of the people that she helped and photos of her as well. And so I feel much closer to Saint Marianne Cope now after being here. And I want to say as well, the wonderful Sister Jean, who was our tour guide through all this, meant a great deal to me as well. Sister Jean, who's all of 87 years old, I think, has been in her order for 69 years. And you have Saint Marianne, who died in 1918, and then we're getting a tour from someone in her order, Sister Jean, who made her vows in the 1950s, and here we are in the year 2020. So in a way, it's sort of like, here you've got Saint Marianne's legacy from the 1800s all the way into and out of the 20th century. Here we are now through the first fifth of the 21st century, and her legacy carries on. And so I think this museum experience greatly increased my devotion to Saint Marianne, and to have someone who walk us through it, who has that, bears all that drama of the 20th century and everything the church has been through, in her own life, I think was kind of special too. And it was just a reminder in a broader sense of everything the Catholic Church does to help the poor and the downtrodden, how it attracts people like Sister Jean to the religious life, to the vowed life, and how it did Saint Marianne too. It all meant a great deal to me.
Say that not only what you got from us, but what we got from you. I think that this has been a wonderful experience when we meet families that come here who are so devoted to their family, as well as to the history of what Mary Ann went through. I do feel that it gives me an inspiration. It just, how will I say, it revitalizes everything that I do, because that's what it's all about. It's how I can promote better things going on in the church, how families are devoted in their own parishes, and the idea that you would take time out to come and experience something like this, to me is a blessing and a wonderful thing for me to know, and it makes me very hopeful for the future.
Thank you, sister.